Oh man, it's the original Eminent Sports Broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen, man. And I had to get this one off my motherfucking chest, bro. What's going on in the world today? People got a lot of shit to say. What's up with all the hate with the PBC, man? Are we boxing fans or what? A lot of disparaging remarks about the rollout. People saying, what the hell is PBC doing? What is Amazon Prime doing? But we're gonna take a real close look at this. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna break this down nice and easy. We ain't in no rush. But before we get into it, rock out.
I told you about 3 times they won't fucking with me, right? Umbrella. I'ma run it up and up and up. 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 Big brella grind until I fill it up. Shawty private purpose like it's Eminem. Sliding through your city, you gon' live and learn. She gon' let me fuck cause I'm a living legend.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. What are we talking about today? We are talking about the pay-per-view fight that was just announced. That's going to be taking place March 30th. And this is the fight. This is the card that has everyone in an uproar. Everyone complaining. Something that I'm not understanding whatsoever. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, on this card we have former unified welterweight champion versus Tszyu. And we couldn't get it to be a world title fight. Why? Because Keith Thurman was inactive? That has to be the only reason. Because it couldn't have been because he wasn't ranked as a junior middleweight. Because we can clearly see that Teofimo Lopez is fighting Jermaine Ortiz and he's moving up. And that's sanctioned, and that WBO title is up for grabs. So, yeah, I mean, let's skip the politics. Let's just talk about what we got. You feel me? Because that's what we're gonna do. Keith Thurman versus Tszyu. Rolly Romero versus Pitbull as the chief support. Third fight going from top to bottom. You got Arizlandi Lara versus Michael Safara. So both of these two fights are going to be for world titles. For the WBA title that Rolly Romero got off of a vacant fight with Ismael Barroso, which ended in controversy. So we got that fight, and then we got Arizlandi Lara versus Michael Safara. You know what I'm saying? Arizlandi Lara is a multi-division world champion. Excellent fighter, but he's had long layoffs, right? But, you know what I mean? I'm a pretty decent boxing fan, right? I follow the sport pretty closely. So far I know all these names. Michael Safara is a former world champion, right? So they're fighting for Lara's WBA title. And then going down that list, as the opening fight for the pay-per-view, we got the towering Inferno Sebastian Fandora versus Sergey Baranchik. Bukanchuk, sorry. Knockout artist. Only has one loss. Mind you, he's been stopped in that one loss. So One loss KO versus one loss KO. Opening bout. Should be fireworks, right? So everyone's upset because they're saying, well, Tszyu should have fought this guy. He should have fought Crawford. He should have fought Jamel. Keith Thurman should have fought Boots. But this is the fight that we got. And are you going to tell me that this is not going to be an entertaining fight? It's not going to be an entertaining card, really? Is that what you're telling me? Now, we here at Eminent Sports Broadcasting, man, you know what I mean? We trying to cover the sport. We trying to cover sports in general, right? And I feel like a great way to bring boxing to the forefront is to also talk about other sports, because then it will engage other fans into the sport of boxing. We don't want to be siloed into a corner and only talk about boxing. But it's my favorite sport. And right now, with my limited time, I give it all to boxing. But as the channel gets bigger and we begin to get more freedom, we're going to talk about other sports as well. And we're going to show people why boxing is so beautiful, man. It's so beautiful because even when people get great events, they complain. Now, mind you, they're complaining. They're complaining. But one thing I'm noticing is there's other things they're not complaining about. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down, man. We're going to break it down. We got time, baby. We got time. I'm going out of town. But I wasn't going to leave y'all without an episode this week, bruh. It was not going to happen because as I'm surveying the landscape and I'm reading this and I'm listening to that, all I hear is people bitching and moaning. Mind you, it's the first fight on the rollout for PBC, right? We haven't even seen the production value. We haven't even seen no shoulder programming, no trailer, no nothing. And people are talking so much negativity, man. Even though this is the company that's put on the biggest boxing events on U.S. soil in history, bruh. In history. Multiple major fights for multiple years, but yet people act like this company is a laughingstock. So what I'm going to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pull up the zone schedule. Right? I'm going to pull up the zone schedule. Right? We're going to make this shit nice and easy. We ain't going to make this difficult whatsoever. Right? And we're going to talk about it. Right there on your boob tube, we have not the full schedule, but this is what's on their app right now. This is what's on their website right now. Right? Let's move from left to right. We all know we got the Jaime Munguia fight tomorrow, Golden Boy. That's a good fight. Fight card is decent, got some names on it, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. And we're going to compare it to the PBC first fight of the year. Mind you, these guys have been active. These guys have been putting on fight cards. So from left to right, we got Crocker versus Felix. And I'm not shitting, y'all. I don't know who these dudes are. So you're going to tell me I'm not a hardcore because I don't know who these guys are? Danger Zone is the bill. What is this, bruh? Mind you, I pay for the zone annually, bruh. Big chunk of change. You know what I'm saying? I'm not crying. It's a part of being a fan of the sport. You got to pay to play. But these are the type of fights that I'm getting. Fights that I'm never going to tune into. Fights that even if I was to tune into, I would not be able to have a conversation with friends that give a fuck. Yo, you seen that Crocker and Felix fight? It could be fight of the year contender. It'll never get nominated because of the promoter that's putting it on, for one. For two, no one's gonna talk about it. It's not gonna happen. But like I said, I'm not trying to shit. I'm not trying to put the fight down. I'm not trying to get people discouraged about the fight whatsoever. I'm just keeping it a buck. So now on the John Ryder card, right? So we got Jaime Munguia versus John Ryder, right? 2 168 pounders. Jaime Munguia is a former world champion. John Ryder is a contender. He's on the contender level. Strong fighter. Both of these guys are strong fighters. John Ryder has stepped up to world-class level. So has Jaime Munguia in certain retrospects. You know, he had a fighter of the year contender against Derevyanchenko last year. But this is the fight that we're getting. This is the fight that we're getting. So let's take a look at the undercard, man. Let's take a look at this undercard. Oscar Collazo versus Reyes Gutierrez for a WBO strawweight title. That's your co-main for this fight, man. For this 50-50 fight. Where if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet on either fighter. Jaime or Ryder. I would just bet on the over. I don't think either one of these guys are going to knock each other out. I think the over is going to be the best play for you. Mind you, don't take my advice. I'm not a betting expert. You feel me? So any bets you guys make is on your own behalf. But like I said, a strawweight WBO title is on the line, and that's your chief support. Third fight from top to bottom going down is Gabriela Fondora, who's Sebastian Fondora's sister. And she's an IBF flyweight women's world champion fighting against Christina Cruz. Is that boxing card so stellar that it doesn't deserve no criticism whatsoever? Mind you, this fight is today. Nobody has nothing to say in terms of criticism. I'm looking forward to the fight. I'll be out of town. I'm definitely going to have either my computer popped open, chilling in the hotel room, or I'm not sure if I'm going to be in an event for my daughter tomorrow, but I'm going to definitely peep in, whether it be on the computer or on my phone. But this is a fight that has to be watched and it has to be discussed. But let's scroll down. Let's scroll over. H2O Styles versus Estevan Falco. February 2nd on the Zone. Okay. I don't think we need to discuss that any further. February 3rd, we also have Ben versus Dobson. Well, the H2O fight is February 2nd, but on February 3rd, we have Conor Benn, a UK fighter, fighting in Orlando against Dobson. This should be a good scrap. I know both fighters. You know what I mean? Conor Benn has been on the contender level for quite some time, but hasn't stepped up to challenge for a world title. I guess he's waiting for the belts to become vacant. I guess that's the thing to do, right? When you don't want to challenge a champion, you don't force the issue. And he's fighting Dobson. And Dobson's been looking pretty decent in some of his previous fights. But let's take a look at the undercard on that. We got Amo Williams versus Connor Coyle for a middleweight fight. And Johnny Fisher versus Bezos. And I ain't talking about Jeff Bezos. I'm talking about Demetrius Bezos. No one's got nothing to say. No criticism whatsoever. Oh my God. It gets more interesting, ladies and gentlemen. We have a next-gen fight. Who's the fighters on the next-gen fight, you would say? Hey, Classic. Tell me who the fighters is on the next-gen card. Some UK fighters, man. Yeah. Fighting for a British world title. That's what Classic, member of the ESB, Click, Eminent Sports Broadcasting, and we're paying top dollar for next gen British world title fight. Dylan versus Bellotti. Not Pilati, Bellotti. Oh my God. The plot thickens, ladies and gentlemen. The plot thickens. Eddie Hearn putting on a master class boxing schedule, my friends. So, Saudi's paying you guys big money to host fights with your big fighters, and instead of the money that you're saving and the money that you guys are inheriting, you invest back into the fights. These are the things that you guys are investing in and giving us. Right? Like I said, I'm not trying to shit. I'm only criticizing because I'm not understanding why there's so much hate for the PBC, bruh. I know why, but I'm not going to talk about it on this episode. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But let's continue. Cruel. What is that? Cruel versus Non-Stishija. That sounds like an African fighter versus a Mexican fighter. I know I butchered that name and I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. But it's for an IBF World Light Flyweight title. Huh. And I understand that this now has been moved down to possibly the co-main, right? Because now Mauricio Lara is going to be on this card. So Eddie's getting him back out there. You know what I mean? After he took his loss, after his rematch with Lee Wood. No criticism, though. Everybody's good. Everybody's happy. Everybody's singing Kumbaya. You feel me? Everybody's dancing. No issues whatsoever. We good here. But let's keep rocking. Edgar Berlanga versus McCory. Yeah, Edgar Berlanga. A guy who is clearly milking the fans. You know, people criticize Al and they say, you know, Al be milking us, bruh. Al be milking us. But we seem to be getting, whenever my boxing friends get together, it seems to be the PBC fights. Why are we not getting together for Berlanga versus McCory? Why are these the fights that Berlanga wants to have, right? Why, when he was a free agent, why didn't he sign with the PBC so he can get a crack at David Benavidez, so he can get a crack at David Morrell, so he can get a crack? Well, at the time, Canelo was on the zone, and it was absurd that they were actually entertaining this fight. He didn't deserve a Canelo fight, but they were entertaining the possibilities, bruh. You mean Jaime Munguia stepping up and fighting John Ryder and Berlanga's fighting McCory? This is what we're getting, ladies and gentlemen. No criticism. Not a peep. Nobody in an uproar. Everybody's cool. Nothing to see here. These are the fights that we are investing our money in over here on DAZN. So you know me, Classic, man. I'm upset. Your host is upset, man, because people are criticizing this fight card like it's dog shit. Like it's absolute dog shit. And it makes zero sense to me because for my dollar, I'm pretty sure this card is going to be amazing. Now, mind you, we have some good cards. We have some good announcements that's been made. And we're not going to act like they don't exist. And we're going to talk about them. We're definitely going to talk about them because I don't want you to feel like I'm playing favorites. Because I'm definitely not. I'm just not understanding the hate. February 17th coming up in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We got Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk for the undisputed world title. Not mad at that whatsoever. On that undercard, you got Joe Cordina versus Anthony Caceres for the IBF Junior Lightweight title. Sergey Kovalev is coming off a longer layoff than Keith Thurman. And he's fighting Robin Thurman. Okay. Whatever. It is what it is, right? We gotta swallow that. We gotta swallow that. On ESPN, coming up, we have Luis Alberto Lopez versus Rhea Ab. And you're going to have a fighter named Kilimov versus Raymond Ford. So that card should be decent. I know who Raymond Ford is. I don't know who his opponent is, but he is the A side. So that probably be a very intriguing fight. Raymond Ford stepping up, trying to put himself on the contender level, put himself in position for a world title. Should be a decent card. March 8th, Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. A main event fighter coming off a loss. No one's complaining, which is fine. Ngannou came in, shocked the world, lost to Tyson Fury, but looked comparable. Look decent. Right? Look decent in his effort against Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? World champion, lineal champion. Should have had no business in that ring with him. But served himself pretty decent, man. Gave us a decent fight. Gave us something to talk about. Didn't sell shit on pay-per-view. But we know the Saudis, that's not what they're here for. They just want to make the big fights. And that's cool with me. But on that undercard, of the Joshua, let me find that back, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a second, please. Let me find where I was at. Anthony Joshua. Man, this shit is insane to me, bruh. The level of hate people got for the PBC, man. Mind you, these guys haven't put out no shoulder programming for this upcoming fight. They haven't put on no trailers for this fight. They haven't promoted. They haven't even had a press conference. People are asking for what's the financial details of the deal that they got with Amazon. If you all know, PBC moves in secret. They keep a lot of shit to their chest, you right? Are we gonna knock them for it? Knock them if you want, man. Over there in England, you got Dan Aziz versus Joshua Buatsi. That's gonna probably be on Peacock for British. That's a British lightweight fight, right? That's gonna be on US TV. Joshua Buatsi should be on the contender level, but chose not to be. Didn't choose to challenge himself. Wanted more development. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? Eddie was trying to force him down a path to Bivol, and he felt like he wasn't ready. So he pumped his brakes, and he chose to fall back and have the opportunity to develop a little bit more. So when he does get on that level, he's put himself in the best position to succeed. But that's a fight that probably be on Peacock, right? I think Boxer or Sky Sports is putting that fight on. Nobody saying nothing, man. Nobody complaining about that. You know what's on that undercard? Adam Azim versus Enoch Pozin. Yeah. Caroline Dubois is going to be on a fight. TBA. Opponent to be announced. Everybody's kosher, though. February 8th, we got Teofimo Lopez versus Jermaine Taylor. Moving up to challenge Teofimo Lopez because Teofimo Lopez didn't want to fight Jose Ramirez or Arnold Barbosa. So they had to leave Top Rank and go sign with Golden Boy because Teofimo Lopez wasn't going to fight either one of these guys at the time. He wanted to bring guys up in the low weight class, but nobody's criticizing though, right? Like I said, I love Teofimo Lopez. I love what he brings to the sport. Not knocking, just stating facts, right? Nobody criticizing his fight. Everybody's cool. Keyshawn Davis on the undercard versus Pedraza. Former Tank victim. They passing Pedraza around like a joint. Who's next up, man? Get your rocks off on Pedraza. Is that the type of fighter Pedraza wants to be, or does he still feel that he can pull off an upset and get back on the level? Or is he just cashing them checks? But that's your co-main fight on that card, man. Everybody's cool. Nobody mad. Nobody saying nothing. But we got all the hate for Thurman versus Tszyu, Brody versus Pitbull, Lara versus Zafara, and the return of Sebastian Fondora. Oshaki Foster versus Abraham Nova is coming up February 16th. I like Shock. I like Nova. I think this is going to be a decent scrap. Andres Cortez is on that card. Bruce Carrington is going to be on that card. The usual suspects over there on Top Rank. A lot of the young up-and-coming prospects going to be showcasing themselves on this card. But it's going to be a lot of mismatches, y'all. And we're cool. Nothing to see here, man. No reason to stir the pot whatsoever, right? Everybody's good. Everybody's good. So on Francis Ngannou versus Joshua card, right? That's a good card. Not knocking that whatsoever. I like it. I like it. And I'll be tuning in. It'll be very interesting to see what transpires in that fight. Will Joshua be able to get the knockout when Fury wasn't able to? You know what I mean? That'll be the question a lot of people are going to be asking. On that undercard, you're going to have Big Bang Zhang versus Joseph Parker after coming off of the Wilder win. So you got a couple cards that you could argue, okay, this is a better card because of what's at stake than his PBC card. But at worst case scenario, it's the third worst card of all these cards that are announced so far. Right or wrong, from top to bottom. But yet, it's getting all the hate, bruh. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing about me, man. One thing about us here at MN Sports Broadcasting, we're going to talk the truth, man. We're going to talk the truth. This card that's going to be on Amazon Prime, PBC Showcase Rollout. It is what it is, man. Instead of waiting to see what are they going to present to us, how they're going to present it to us, how is Thurman going to look, you know what I'm saying, leading up to the fight. People are ready to criticize it and say they're ready to steal it. They're ready to stream it, man. They ain't going to pay for it. There's nothing to pay for. But y'all want to pay for subscriptions when they're giving you dog shit. But y'all want to pay for pay-per-views that's going to be airing 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Or at least not criticize. Maybe you guys are going to stream those as well, right? Some boxing fans you guys are, man. I see the hypocrisy, man, and I'm trying to swerve it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Classic, and I'm signing off. PBC, I'm looking at you guys with a magnifying glass. That's for sure. But I'm not mad about this first fight that you guys are putting out. And I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be rocking it. Because you got the fighters that everybody want to talk about and everybody wants to see. And as much as they hate, they got to congratulate. And I'm going to exit the premises, ladies and gentlemen. Let my dog Umbrella take us home. And I will see you guys in a couple days. Me and our co-host will be back at it. Loso will be back at it. So y'all enjoy the weekend, enjoy the fights. And miss us, because we'll miss y'all. And we'll be back very soon to talk sports, to talk boxing, to pull back the curtains on the hate and look for it for what it really is. Y'all motherfuckers stop bitching, man. Enjoy yourselves. All right, y'all boys.